Alright, what's happening guys? Brofades here. Today I'll be going over my solo tips for Guardian in Deep of Night. I know I've made a ton of guides for this character, but I've also seen some interest in this guide, and I didn't think I could fit all of this into my last video. The thing about this video is that some of the tips extend into standard solo expeditions. I'm covering solo mainly because some of these tips work their way into trios as well, and a lot more people struggle with solo than they do in co-op. So basically, I'm going to help you with solo Deep of Night expeditions, which also helps with standard mode, which also helps with trios.
What?
Before we get into it, don't forget I stream 3 days a week. Come watch me swear at video games and have a good time. Lastly, if you want to hang with a cool bunch of people and see more behind the scenes stuff, come bird up and join the Discord. Anyway guys, let's begin. The first thing I'm going to touch on are deep relics for Guardian. Before you jump into Deep of Night, I highly recommend spending some merc in the Small Jar Bazaar to see if you're lucky enough to get some good relics. If you absolutely can't get any, then it's okay for now. I've gone over numerous times the best relics for standard expeditions, so here are the best relic effects for Guardian in Deep of Night. If you can get your hands on his relic that increases his strength and dex but decreases vigor, this is pretty much a must for him. With this relic, he actually has higher stats than Wilder and will do more damage than him. Not much else to really say about that. The other relic of course is the Faith relic, but I've already discussed this in a different video, so I'll just direct you to that one for now. Anyway, the other excellent relic for him is the Guardian character skill boosts damage negation of nearby allies. This is such a godlike relic, and it jacks the power of his skill up tenfold. When you throw down the whirlwind, you and all nearby teammates who pass through it will gain a 12% increase to damage negation for 30 seconds. Now hear me out, your whirlwind recharges much quicker than 30 seconds. So as long as you keep throwing down your whirlwind, you'll just take less damage and you'll also still chip away at the boss's health. Treat it like an Iron Eye mark. You want to be always throwing this out whenever you can. I've gone over his Deep of Night specific relics, and there are other relic effects like improved guard counters, but those are a no-brainer. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably well versed with base relic effects that are good for the Birdman. Some other honourable mentions for deep relic effects are starting with uplifting aromatic, max stamina increased when clearing a camp boss, max vigor increased when clearing a church boss, improved damage negation, dormant power helps find halberds or great shields. I'll save time, so for now on screen you can pause the video and have a quick look at why I rate these relic effects for Guardian. Now what negative effects do you want to avoid? That is up to you and dependent on how many you have stacked onto your relic loadout. If you've got something like damage builds up madness, it depends on the user. Personally, this effect doesn't annoy me and I don't have it proc that much. Whereas something like max HP reduced once you go down, yeah nah man, that ain't for me. The general rule of thumb is to not have too many negative effects on and to find weapon passives or other relic effects that counteract these. Be smart about it. If you have passive HP loss, then use the Maris relic, stuff like that. Okay, so I'll say now that the toughest part of Deep of Night solo is the early game. Well that, and if you get a run-ending Night 2 boss like the Deathrite Bird or Nameless King, but mainly the early game. It's easy to get stuck into a loop of trying to get your runes back, trying to kill the boss, and so forth. My best advice for the early game is to avoid red bosses, unless you're very confident that it won't take too long, and that you can beat them. Same case for field bosses, unless once again, you're very confident that you can beat them and they won't waste too much time. For example, I'm not going to take on a red Elder Lion at level 2 or 3, but I will take on a Fire Monk or Banished Knights because they die horribly to Guardian. Just throw down your EX Whirlwind and spam charged R2s. There is no need to make the game any harder for yourself. Keep it simple and play to your character's strengths. In this case for Guardian, it's guard counters and crowd control. Go to the easy camps, EX Whirlwind trash mobs, and even kill the trash mobs. I say not to take on red bosses, but red enemies? They drop more runes and they will always drop a deep weapon. Some runs I've hit level 8 by night 1 just by killing trash mobs and red enemies. They're so underrated. You'll see in this video what early game looks like. I'm prioritizing the easier camps over tougher bosses. I'm playing to Guardian's strengths and I'm spending my time stun locking enemies and spamming R2s, or I'm doing guard counters. You'll see that me personally in this run, I did get some red bosses, but like, they didn't take too long. I was at the appropriate level and they were really easy red bosses. Use common sense and weigh up your options. Is it worth opening an Everjail and taking on the red Godskin Apostle? F no dude, go do easier camps. Come back later when you're a higher level and have better gear, then fuck him up. Don't be afraid to use other weapons and playstyles. This one more applies to Guardian users who are running the Faith and also the enhanced strength and dex relic. even more so for those running both of them together. Let's talk about the enhanced strength and dex relic first. You get a significant boost to dexterity and you wind up with more dex than Duchess. And with strength, as I said, you do more damage than Wilder, so yeah. Lean into this as much as you want. I know some encounters don't warrant using guard counters, so use this to your advantage and try something new. Pick up a weapon you don't usually use with Guardian and use it. I've done expeditions with the Bloody Hellas, dual straight swords. Hell, I remember one expedition I had Tibia Mariner for night 1 and I had a dagger with shared order on it. I swapped to the dagger and just used that for the whole fight and absolutely crushed it. Same sort of deal with the Faith Relic. This doesn't just apply to casting incantations, there's plenty of amazing Faith weapons out there for you to try and use as well. Imagine getting the Golden Halberd. That'd be nice. But yeah, just think outside the box with these relics and weapon pairings. I'm sure there's some strategies and builds that people haven't thought to do yet. Visit the Big Merchant. Apparently this guy is actually called the Township, but I prefer calling him Big Merchant, because it's more fun that way. If I spot this motherfucker on my map as the hawk is dropping me in, I'll make it a habit to visit him at least once. I don't know if y'all know this, but he's guaranteed to have pretty much one of everything for your Nightfarer. He'll always have a bow for Iron Eye, a staff for Recluse, or, you know, a seal for Revenant, say. This means he'll always have a halberd and a shield, so if you're struggling to find good gear, then you can always pay him a visit. Furthermore, he has some other gear that'll help you out a lot, like Dragon Wound Grease. Even if you're not fighting a dragon, you'll still get a damage buff, and if you happen to be running the Grease meta relic, then you can just buy as many of these as you want and have a massive damage boost. He also packs smithing stones, very useful damage negation talisman and stat boosting talismans. Just, yeah, I'm really selling him. I don't know, man, I've done so many expeditions with randoms, and nobody ever seems to want to visit this poor guy. Maybe it's just my luck or my own experience, but because of this, I feel like he's underrated as fuck until told otherwise. You wanna know what Deep of Night reminds me of? It reminds me of the time when we all first started playing this game and we all sucked at it. We were losing to the Night 1 and 2 bosses, and if we managed to get to the Night Lord, we'd get stomped or barely win. It's a simple tip, but it's true. Don't feel bad about losing. This game mode is supposed to be difficult. If you failed at a solo expedition, take note of why you lost and learn from it. Was it because you ran out of stamina? Did you forget to buy Wending Graces? Maybe it was just because you got one-shot by the Sentient Pest. God, this game mode is tough and often bullshit at times. While I don't really agree with the artificial difficulty and think that depth 4 and 5 are borderline crap and just not fun, I think depth 3 is my max that I'll go to until they rework the later depths. Like, why couldn't they just replace enemies and bosses with their harder counterparts? Like the Putrid Avatar, the Ferumazula Banished Knights, or some other Flying Dragon variants. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, sorry. Don't be put off when you lose, just keep trying. I'm sitting here telling you how to play the bird and how to do solo expeditions, but if you saw my track record and how many I've lost, man, it's unbelievable. But it's all a learning experience, except for when you get one shot by Sentient Pest. TLDR, later depths are bullshit, stay on depth 2 or 3. Look, there's nothing stopping you from going to depth 4 or 5, but me personally, man, that ain't for me. Well, if you've reached this part of the video, congratulations, you're a fucking legend. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Hit me up in the comment section if you have any other questions or any tips to share. I'd love to hear from you. Just don't be a dickhead, okay? Anyway guys, I know it sounds like the video's just about to end, but that's because